Welcome to the Q3 2025 earnings call for Regency Petroleum Company Limited, JSE Ticker, RPL. I'm Renee McDonald, CEO and Investor Relations Lead at Learn Grow Invest Limited, and I'm your moderator for the call today. Today, CEO Andrew Williams and Executive Vice President Amanda Williams will be taking you through their performance for the last quarter and sharing with you the outlook for the coming months. As always, we invite you to share your questions and comments in the chat, and they will be addressed during the questions and answers segment. With that, please join me in welcoming Andrew Williams to the platform.
Thank you, Renee, and thanks to the LGI team once more for facilitating us having this earnings call that we can relate and inform our shareholders of the company's progress and growth. Let's start out with a word of prayer as usual. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning giving thanks. We're giving thanks for all your blessings and mercies, especially now, oh Father. We thank you for life, and we thank you for all of us being here. Thank you for our shareholders, for the company Regency Petroleum. Though there may be challenges, Father, over the past few weeks with the hurricane, we thank you that we are still here, and we always put you first in all that we do within our personal lives and within the company. And we ask now that you continue to bless us, bless our shareholders as we proceed with this call. We ask you to intervene and watch over all of us and be with us all now and forever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Welcome once more, everyone, to our earnings call for Q3 2025. We have seen another quarter of achievements, and before we go into our highlights and financials, I would just like to state the obvious, or what probably is on everyone's mind with the hurricane, us being in the West. As the prayer said, we are giving thanks to God for what he has done for the company. We experienced a very catastrophic hurricane in the West. Regency Petroleum is a Jamaican company, and we operate island-wide. We are based in the Westmoreland. We had some damages to our Paradise location, primarily, thank God for that, cosmetic damages. We were down for 2 to 3 days after the hurricane to get back things in order, to do our checks, to ensure safety, first of all, for the operation of the gas station, and to do some minor adjustments, minor fixing of the dispensers and whatever was damaged. So we became operational on November 3rd, which was the Monday following the hurricane, the Tuesday. So we did our repairs, did our checks, ensure everything was in order, and we started operations on the first Monday, on the 3rd of November. So with regards to the hurricane, yes, we suffered some damages, and fortunately for us, we're insured. All locations are insured. Kingston was see no damages whatsoever. Negril had some minor damages, primarily to our price sign, but Paradise suffered greatly in terms of cosmetic damages, and we are insured. So we're just awaiting the insurance company. We have been in constant dialogue. They have been supportive thus far, and we're trying to expedite the process of repairs so we can have it back up even better than before. Well, it will be better than before because all equipment now, cosmetic-wise, would have been brand new. So we'd have brand new equipment or brand new fixed assets being repaired. Windows, glasses, canopy repairs, whatever would be new. So let's move right into our highlights for the quarter. And again, achievements. Our revenue, we are seeing 477.92 million for the quarter. It's 21% up from the comparative quarter last year. Our gross profit 97.93 million, 46% up over the comparative quarter last year. Operating profit 45.35 million, 101% over the comparative quarter last year. And a gross profit margin of 20.49%. So we can see here where our targets are being achieved. We're a growing company, and we set our targets, and we are projected all of this increase in revenue and profits. As if you follow us over time, we've been projecting this based on our growth. We have a large room for growth and market share to be increased. We have a large room for that because we're a small company growing in a space where there's a lot of market share for us to gain. And Regency Petroleum being a Jamaican-owned company, we want to be a household name in Jamaica. So we have that path that we are and that projection that we are geared towards, and we want to achieve these targets as we move along over the short, medium, and even the long term. So for the total expenses, it was up as we grow, with growth and our expansions that we've been doing. Where our expenses are up 52.88, it's up 21%. Earnings per share 0.022, up by $0.015. And our share price as at September 30th, happy to announce, was $4.60. It's up 39% year to date. So again, achievements there, and shows confidence that our shareholders would have had in the company, and we appreciate this. We appreciate this level of confidence, and we will not disappoint. I can say we will do our very best with God at the forefront. We will do our very best to ensure that we continue on this growth path and involve God in whatever we do. So I will going to move now into our financials. Our EVP will take over. Our CFO was a little bit I can just mention Jerry, who is everyone is used to. Still recovering from the hurricane because we got a hard hit down the side. So he's still in recovery mode, and our connections, bad connectivity is very bad for his location. So we have our EVP presenting for him on his behalf today. So we'll now move into our financials.
Thank you, Andrew, and good afternoon, everyone. I'll now walk you through our financial performance for the third quarter ended in September 30, 2025. Overall, Q3 was a strong quarter for RPL, marked by double-digit revenue growth, improved profitability, and disciplined management of our operations despite a challenging operating environment. I'll break down the key movements across our income statement, balance sheet, and cash flows. Starting with our top line, operating revenue for Q3 2025 was $477.9 million, compared to $395.5 million in Q3 2025, representing 21% year-over-year growth. This increase was primarily driven by higher fuel sales volume, improved pricing strategies, and expanded distribution capabilities across our stations and commercial clients. Moving on to the gross profitability, the gross profit rose to $97.9 million, up from $66.9 million last year, an increase of 46%. This outpaced revenue growth, which indicates improved margins, better procurement efficiency, and stronger inventory management. Our profit before finance costs doubled, moving from $22.6 million to $45.35 million, a 101% increase, reflecting strong operating leverage. Finally, the profit after taxation grew to $31.56 million compared to $21.64 million last year, a 36% increase. Earnings per share also improved significantly from $0.015 to $0.022, up to 47%, demonstrating our ability to translate operational improvements into shareholder value. Turning to the balance sheet, we continued to strengthen our asset base in Q3 as we prepare for long-term expansion. So property, plant, and equipment increased 27%, moving from $445 million to $567 million. This reflects our ongoing investments in new service stations, infrastructure upgrades, and operational expansion. The cash and cash equivalents decreased from $18.4 million to $5.59 million, primarily due to large capital expenditures during the quarter, which I will explain more when we get into the cash flows. Accounts receivable decreased slightly, down 7%, indicating improved collections and tighter credit management. On the liability side, we recorded $229.19 million as the current portion of long-term borrowings. This is tied to the financing secured for our expansion projects. The payables increased from $42.8 million to $100.6 million, which aligns with higher inventory purchases and increased operational activity. Now looking at the cash flows, which tell the full story of how we are funding growth. Cash flow from operations improved significantly to $68.4 million compared to a negative position of $14.1 million last year. This shows strong core performance and better working capital management. The cash used in investing activities was $287.7 million compared to $34.2 million last year. The substantial increase reflects our expansion strategy, including construction, station upgrades, and infrastructure investment. This is expected and consistent with our long-term growth plan. So basically, in summary, RPL delivered a strong quarter. Revenue is growing sustainably. Margins are improving. Profitability is increasing year over year, and we are investing aggressively in the future of the company. With that, I'll hand it back over to Andrew for the company outlook, and then we will move into the Q&A portion. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks for that. All right. So with regards to our outlook, not much has changed since the last time we had our earnings call. We are still in the process of completing our truck stop at Crawford's and Elizabeth, which I didn't mention earlier, but happy to report again that there was absolutely no damage with regards to that dealer-owned, dealer-operated service station in Crawford, our truck stop, highly anticipated. Everything remains the same prior to the storm. Equipment being ordered, equipment on its way to complete that station. And we are hoping to have it up and operational for the service station even before the convenience store and the truck stop area, but just for the service station. We're hoping to have that up very soon, where we begin our sales in gasoline and petroleum. We're hoping to have that even prior to the operation of the convenience store and truck stop per se. The equipment for the truck stop. So we will have the parking spaces available, but in terms of equipment, because the truck stop now will carry some form of equipment to aid drivers of those trucks, to make it easier for them, air conditioning, bathroom facilities, etc. So back to the outlook. Kingston service station awaiting some approvals now for the construction to commence. We have procured, however, the major equipment for that station. We are hoping to have delivery by January latest. Our suppliers informed us that we should have it in December, but we are projecting that by January, after the holidays, we should have those equipment specifically tanks, dispensers on the ground here for installations then in January. So all those on the way. We have, however, a number of projects on the table, which I keep mentioning, and we are not at the final stages as yet. But these projects for sure will come to fruition. I do not wish currently to make mention in any further detail on them as yet until we have signed off on these. But they are significant. What I can tell you, they are significant projects. One in particular will benefit the company greatly, will benefit the company significantly. It will benefit also the country and its growth and development. So we are looking, if all goes well and all agreements align, all negotiations align itself with what we propose, we will benefit, the company will see growth from this particular project. And the country also will see developmental growth. Also, our citizens will be engaged. We will provide employment with whichever region this project takes place. And we are eagerly anticipating the finalization and closure of these negotiations so we can make an announcement very soon about this particular project. And we also have two other projects on the table. So I apologize that I cannot go any further detail on those projects right now, but very soon we will have an announcement to make on that. And the company is on a steady growth path. It's on a steady growth path. As we can see, revenues are up, profits are up, and our management team, machinery, well solid and in place, and it's an everyday balancing act for us, an evaluation process for us, assessment process for us. But with the help of God, we will continue to progress. The company will continue to progress. Our shareholders will continue to benefit from their shareholdings within the company. As we can see, the confidence displayed in our share price. And again, we give thanks to God and to our shareholders who have the confidence in the company. And we appreciate what you have displayed. I can't say confidence enough, and we will not disappoint for sure. And each and every one who is a shareholder of the company should be very proud to be a shareholder of a Jamaican-owned company, making marks, making achievements within the country in this global environment and industry where the competition, I don't need to say anymore about the competition and what challenges that we are faced with, but we still stand strong, and we will continue to do so with our prudent decisions and our expansion plans. So we now can move into our question and answers. I am sure we have some questions from our shareholders and just the general audience. We are anticipating and eagerly anticipating to answer.
Indeed. Thank you so much for that, Andrew. I'm laughing because I'm seeing the comments coming in, but we will get to that. Okay. We are about to go into the Q&A segment, so I'll welcome Amanda back to the platform as well. So we have the full team here. All right. So I had a few points that I just wanted to talk to you about, Andrew, before we get into the questions from the audience. A few of them have been asked in the chat, so I'll reserve those. But you mentioned your management team, and I'm glad that you did, because we know that for the companies that we're investing in, a strong management team is very important. So how are you training up that team at this point, and how is the team expanding? What does that look like as you continue to grow the company?
Okay, we have certain strategies that we employ, and one of them is that we control our overheads, and we employ technology. So based on the industry that we are in and the nature of the business that we carry on, being a petroleum marketing company, a vast majority of our management portfolio would have been logistics for one, which meaning, let me break it down, logistics in terms of everything. A lot of what the company's operation is done online. A lot of the operations is done online. So connectivity is very critical for us to be efficient in what we do. So we have one primary, our main single supplier, which is Petrojam. So we have one supplier for our petroleum products. They supply all our needs and quite efficiently and effectively also. And we have our distribution channels, service stations, privately owned service stations, LPG filling plants that we supply, and retail LPG, which again we have one supplier. So a lot of this is logistics. So in terms of build out our management team, we have not expanded on our management team with regards to employing more managers. We do training by workshops. We recently had a workshop for our directors, and we have another workshop coming up for our management team with regards to training of the management team and how we can be more efficient in what we do, and how we can and try to expose ourselves with the increase in technology or AI, whatever increased technology that is out there to make us more efficient. So currently our management team, we are quite adequate. There's no need for us to employ additional management currently. As we expand, we will see where it's necessary for us to do so. But right now, we try to control our overheads, try to make each and every one fully efficient and effective in what they do. Because I reiterate, because we employ the latest technology, what we do, and everything is online. Connectivity is important. So we can achieve each portfolio will be able to achieve significant jobs or projects under each portfolio. We can achieve and be efficient in a lot. So just by employing the technology, what we do have in every aspect: surveillance, management, operations, sales. We everything, and we reduce our we trying to go paperless as much as we can, because it's try to make it more easy and convenient for our customers, because the world is moving towards that. You notice a lot of even shopping is done online. You don't have that situation like years, probably even 5-10 years, not even 10 years, 5 years ago, where you go into a store and purchase stuff. No, everything is being done online. So we try to move our operations as much to make it more convenient for our customers to relate and carry on business with us. So in a nutshell, we are currently, our management team, we are adequate with our management team. There's no need for us to increase our management team currently. What we do is employ our technology and to make each and every one more efficient. And we also have workshops coming up, training, so we can be ahead, and up to date with what's happening.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for that, Andrew. I'm happy to hear that you are indeed employing the technology. And it would be remiss of me if I did not, just offer or support publicly to you guys, because we know that indeed on a personal level as well as the business, there's a lot to navigate after the passing of the hurricane. So, absolutely, RPL has our support, and you are more than welcome to let us know if there is any way that we can help. We as LGI, we as the community, we as your shareholders, can provide that support to RPL and to the West in a specific way. I don't know if there is any specific relief effort that you're affiliated with, that you are working alongside. If you'd like to speak on that, you can share with us here as well.
Okay, well, we appreciate that offer, first of all. And what we are seeking to do currently is, because for the Western region, our management team is from the West. Our staff members, majority, our supervisors, our ground staff, pump attendants. On this side, were significantly affected. As I said earlier, each and every individual got affected in some way or the other. Some very great, significant roofs blown off, all that. And so what our focus is on primarily, firstly, is to have our staff members settled, our management team and our staff members settled and comfortable, or bring them back to some form of normalcy. It wouldn't go back to normal, but have our staff firstly. Then we can look towards whatever relief we can assist with otherwise. But not to say it can be done consecutively. So we are looking at our staff members or management team, having them settled and bringing back to some form of normalcy, which is going to take some time. But also we have been, the last project that we did was sometime last week. A particular community reached out to us. There is a group that came together, business persons from that community, small community, but were significantly affected. And we aided in providing the accessibility and also donated some cooking gas cylinders, filled cylinders. Mm-hmm. So this group came together and provided blow-up beds. They provided stoves, 2-burner gas stoves, and we provided the cylinders. We provided the accessibility and also the cylinders, because especially in this time, the cylinders it's a great sacrifice for us because it's a huge capital expenditure for us, and it's always in shortage. But nevertheless, we participated with this group, and that's one of the major projects that we have done so far. And we are looking also for the needy, especially for children and for the churches that were affected also, to see how we can assist, because everyone got affected, to different degrees and different levels.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And it's good to know. We certainly have been seeing the videos and seeing the evidence of persons helping each other, even though everybody is impacted, everybody is banding together, and it is a good thing to see. That unity. We continue to pray for you, your team, as you try to get them back to some sense of normalcy. Yes. And we will go into the chat, into the comments, and address some of the questions that were posed there. So our first question is from Garfield, and he's asking, are you planning to pay dividends next year?
Okay, Garfield. It is always our intention to pay a dividend, and we have always been saying, based on our growth plan, we want to see how much of our financial reserves we can put towards expansion, how much we need to borrow, and how much we can pay for dividend. However, I had mentioned that we currently have a particular project on the table right now that should be announcing very soon what the project is after it's finalized. This project also, in terms of our negotiations, there are intentions from this particular project, if all goes well, to assign, whatever we can assign from this particular project towards dividends, right? Because this will be something new for the company, partly new for the company, and it will be a great expansion for the company, and we are looking, if this comes through and comes to fruition, we will be able to commence our dividend policy and payments in the next financial year. I don't want to state at what point in time as yet, but yes, that is our intention currently, if all goes well, for us to begin our dividend policy payments next year.
All right. I'm sure shareholders are happy to hear that. When dividends are in play, it's always exciting, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So the next question is from Devon, and he's asking, can you quantify the damage on the LPG side of the business as a result of the hurricane? I know in the Q3 report you had mentioned that some assessments needed to be done based on the insurance policy, etc. What else are you able to share with the audience here?
All right. I'm happy for that question because I didn't really mention much about the LPG damages in the opening remarks. But the reason for that is that the LPG capital or the infrastructure for the LPG filling plant that was damaged is not as significant as per se of a service station. The LPG filling plant consists of scales, pipelines, storage tanks, and admin office basically. So it's not anything too significant. LPG plant is not usually located at prime real estate, on prime real estate, because of the nature of the product. It's an LPG filling plant. So it's usually set apart and set aside, not on prime real estate per se. So what you'll find is that the damages that we suffered at our filling plant, yes, it might appear to be some significant damage, but really and truly, when going down to the nitty-gritty of what was damaged, it's primarily just some scales and the pipelines, which we are in the process of repairs. The only reason why I have not completed our repairs or commenced or even completed repairs as yet is because of the insurance policy that we have had in place. We are waiting the assessors to come in so we can proceed with our repairs on the filling station. So I wouldn't state that the filling plant was significantly affected in the hurricane in terms of to bring it back to normalcy and operational state. So that can be done quite quickly after we get the go-ahead from the insurance company to proceed with our repairs and fixing of the filling station. So it's not that significant as per se other location that was damaged.
Okay, so with that, has it impacted your ability to supply the customers?
No, not at all, because we have aligned ourselves with other filling stations that assist with our filling for the household cylinders now, and we also have our bulk supply also. So we also supply in bulk, and that hasn't been affected because that's a situation where the trucks would go out and supply restaurants, bakeries, hotels, whatever. And we still do that. So only thing that would have been affected, which I wouldn't say affected either, would have been the household because that's where the filling plant would have come in place. However, we have put other things in place now to satisfy the filling of those cylinders. So we have not been affected in that way. We didn't lose any cylinders really. Everything was out. All our cylinders that would have been in the inventory would have been out with our dealers. So they had secured them, fortunately, and we're happy for that. So you find that we have been refilling and trying to supply the demand as we go on. We cannot take on any additional customers. Really, we just have to satisfy our current customer base.
Okay. All right. Which then means that at the very least you'll be able to maintain what you have earned from the LPG side.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Our next question is from Tavares, and he's asking, did RPL secure a method of repayment for the bond that expired in September?
We're finalizing that now. So we should, yes, I don't want to go that because we have not signed off the final documents as yet, but yes, a method has been, we are close to the end of our agreements now and signing off of that long-term payment. So the bond will now be transferred to a long-term payment from a commercial institution.
All right. So we'll look out for that update.
Very soon.
Yes,
very soon.
We will look out for that update in a coming report. Yes.
Right.
All right. Earl says, with commerce down and unemployment in that end of the island being high, what is the company doing to ensure profitability?
Well, I could take this one if you don't mind. So yes, we are aware that commerce in the western end of the island has slowed and unemployment remains high in that region. Despite that environment, we've taken very deliberate steps to maintain profitability. Firstly, we've tightened our operations, cutting non-essential costs, improving route efficiency, and strengthening procurement so our margins remain stable even with softer retail activity. Second, our business is diversified, growth in Kingston, steady wholesome demand, and strong commercial clients continue to balance the temporary dip we're seeing on the western side of the island. And thirdly, we have remained reliable even after the hurricane. Negril and Kingston were fully operational, and this consistency in service helps protect our customer base and our volumes. And finally, we are focusing on making our infrastructure more resilient and strengthening operational readiness so we can respond quickly to any future disruptions. So although the economic slowdown in the West is real, our diversified model and discipline management approach allow us to sustain profitability and remain well positioned for future growth.
All right, thank you for that, Amanda. So we have another question from Devon, and he's asking, do you already have NEPA approval for the new project that you are speaking of?
Is that the one for the one that I didn't mention as it announces it?
The one that hasn't been announced yet.
Okay. NEPA is involved so far. So we are being guided by them. So it wouldn't reach the approval stage as yet, but we are being guided by them. So I anticipate no issues there because they are involved in the process currently.
Okay, and related to that project as well, Troyan had a comment saying that it sounds like an overseas project, but we will wait to see what exactly it is, right? And there are a few comments that I just want to acknowledge. Tavares said that RPL has to try to expedite its projects now as the market is getting saturated and there's no time for hiccups. That's right. Which we know that you guys are avid about your projects. You don't take any delays where you can avoid it. So we agree with that. Garfield says the gas station by the airport is really going to work now. You mentioned that in your update earlier, Andrew, that the parts are coming, everything is on track for that one. So we're happy to hear that. And Devon, this is the comment that I saw earlier and I was laughing because Devon says that you don't need to come back, Andrew, because Amanda can take it from here.
I agree with that. I was about to say, Devon, first thing I was about to say after she finished her presentation just now, that boy, I probably don't need to return. I'm coming from time to time.
Right.
Boy. Well, that was the last of it from the audience. I don't believe that there are any other questions from them, but I did have one other thing I wanted to ask you both, if you want to both comment or either one of you. So we saw post hurricane where there was a dip in your share price, right? And it actually halted down, I believe, on November 4th at about $3.72. But we see it's back on an upward trajectory. Before this call, I checked and it was at $4.33. So the price is on its way back up. Is there anything that you would like to say to your shareholders as it pertains to their confidence and their expectations in what it is that RPL is doing and where you are going as we close out?
Okay, so to address that, Renee, is RPL stands very firm and solid in its operations. Now, with our directors and our management team, we have to put in place, which is what I have to commend each and every one of the members of RPL, management and directors for, is that we have to plan for the future and plan for the unexpected. Now, you cannot prevent these things from happening, like natural disasters, whatever, but we can plan for them. And in my opinion, we have done so quite adequately and prudently, in that we have had our insurances put in place for any disasters or anything like what happened just now recently. So we have done all that we could to put in place to secure our shareholders and to secure the company's position in the market. Now, as we move forward, we will continue to put measures in place for unexpected events that may happen negatively. It's understandable that we are located in the West, and some shareholders would have panicked knowing the nature of what took place and where we are located. However, I remind you that we are just originated in Westmoreland. Now, we are a petroleum marketing company, and we have clients, our customers across the island for the LPG and for the gas stations. Now, you'd have noticed that one service station only was down for a few days. Now, we still had Kingston fully operational, Negril fully operational, and these locations were run efficiently and effectively. We never at any point in time ran low with all this, what was going on about the Western region low on fuel supply. We put systems in place to ensure that our location, which is Negril in this side, we're always able. I'm not sure about the competition, but I know that Regency was fully ready and full resource, full inventory to supply all its demands and even excessive demands that came upon us. I would not say anything further about that. We should see some reflection in our next financials with that. But because of how efficient we were able to handle an increased demand for fuel within the Western region by our Negril location. Paradise was up 3-4 days after, whatever, it was up on the Monday after the hurricane, and also ready to satisfy whatever demand was in the region. So we were able to satisfy the hotels, which were in high demand of fuel for generators, because we still do not have our power as back as yet in this area and in the Western region. And we were also able to supply other heavy users, other bulk users of fuel, 87, 90, low sulfur. The hotels, some generators were LPG, which we even initiated for these customers. Other service stations using LPG for power, and we were able to satisfy the demand there. So on the LPG side, we were able to satisfy our existing demand and demand that came up because of the hurricane. So in saying so, we based on the management team and what systems we have in place, we were able to deliver and be efficient. You know, so in moving forward, I am quite confident that with God leading us, because we cannot discount that. I mean, based on what we experienced over this 3-4 week period post hurricane, there's no doubt that our efficiency and what we have achieved in this period was divine intervention from God. You know what His assistance in us being able to satisfy the demand and planning the strategies. And because remember, our management team would have been partly out, you know. So we had to adjust accordingly and still be efficient, because this hurricane really affected the Western region, but the rest of the island per se, Central, Eastern, Northeastern, was not significantly or greatly affected to the point of a shutdown as with Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth and Hanover side, going back to St. James. That was basically a total lockdown. but there was still need for the essentials, and we were able to supply. So I think we passed the test, we passed a rigid test, and that only equip us now to plan for the future. Similar, if it was to happen again, to be even more prepared. I don't know even how much more prepared we could be, because we actually did satisfy the demand, and we didn't fall short much, I would say.
Yes, and congratulations on that. So thank you, Andrew, for addressing that. And in closing, we did get a comment from Cliff. It's a recommendation to do an ESOP, an employee stock ownership program, and buy shares on the market for your staff. So that's something to consider as we close out.
Well, we actually, in our IPO, we actually assigned shares to our management team at the time, our employees at the time. But we can continue. We'll definitely continue to do so, because our staff has increased significantly since then.
Yes, indeed. And it will continue to increase as you open more stations.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Andrew and Amanda. It was a pleasure being here with you, hosting you. And I am sure that the audience were satisfied in their question, but got their questions answered. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate the transparency as always. And to our audience, thank you for being here with us, and thank you for participating. If you do have any other questions or comments for the RPL team, please feel free to leave those in the comments, and we'll ensure that they get over to them for their responses. We hope that you have an amazing rest of day. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you also, Renee.
Thank you. Bye.